Unresolved Problem segment tonight. Madness on college campuses. Not since the late 1960s has there been so much craziness in the college ranks. But this time it's the administration that's often the embarrassment, not the kids. At George Mason University in Virginia, this man, Senior Assistant Director of Admissions Andrew Bunting, says that any person voting for Donald Trump is a, quote, piece of worthless trash, unquote. Best we can tell, no action's been taken against Mr. Bunting by the university. Joining us from Washington, Lisa Booth. Here in New York City, Juan Williams. You're the chancellor of George Mason. First of all, if that happened, there'd be no students, nobody go. But I'm pointing you.
Yes.
Right, what do you do to Bunting?
I would give him some sanction because I think he damaged
What's the
record.
You're the chancellor.
Well, it's
up to you.
I'd say, look, you know what? Take a week off. We want to be very
week.
Yeah, take a week off, no pay, because we want to be very clear with the students that nobody at George Mason is viewed in terms of their political beliefs as a worthless piece of blank, right? That's just not happening here. But I would say this, that he has a right to speak out. I think the kids who are marching and protesting have a right to speak out.
Well, wait a minute. You think he has a right to speak out when he's the one of the admissions deciders?
Remember, he did this on his personal...
Doesn't matter. I don't care where he did it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter because kids have to write essays to get into the school. You know that, right?
Of course.
Personal essays.
Yes.
And he's telling anybody who doesn't agree with his political point of view, you're a worthless piece of trash. How could he possibly be the admissions committee?
Well,
let's go to Lisa.
I don't think that's
You see my point, Lisa? If you're a student and you're applying to George Mason University, you have to write an essay. I mean, you have to tell the people about yourself. And if you hold a certain belief system, maybe that'll be included in your essay. And one of the admissions deciders is telling you, if you don't agree with me, you're a worthless piece of you-know-what. Come on. How can he possibly do his job?
He can't, and that's the big problem here, and this is why he should be let go, because his job is supposed to be objective with the admissions process, and clearly he is anything but. And I think the university needs to take it one step further and do a review of the applications process to ensure that no students and previous applicants, that they were not discriminated against based off of their political ideology or Christian beliefs, because the statement that this individual made on his Facebook post was related to gay marriage and was actually cited something from the Southern Poverty Law Center, which has labeled groups like the Family Research Council hate groups. So
well, I want to get it right. So you'd fire him outright? He's done.
And I think he needs emotional therapy, puppies. Maybe he needs to attend to cry in.
That might be out of your purview as a chancellor to supply him with
You're not your psychologist Krauthammer. But I will say this to you. This is a period where I think we need healing in the country. We do not need to punish people. I think he was wrong, Lisa. I think Bill O'Reilly thinks he's wrong. So we give him some sanction. But I don't think we need to exacerbate, worsen the situation by
how can he do his job? How can he do it?
According to the president, what the president wrote in explaining this bill was that there's a committee made up of 14 people, and they all look at the essays, they all look at the kids. And if there was any evidence of bias, here's how it
really works.
Okay.
All right. He's not the admissions director. He's the assistant.
Right.
The assistant goes through the applications and weeds them out. And the ones that he deems worthy go to the admissions director. Well, that's how it works.
No.
This guy has...
There's a bunch of people
If you think that at any major college there's a bunch of people looking at every admissions form, you're out of your mind.
No, not every, but they go in groups. I was on the board of my college twice, and I'm telling you...
Only the upper echelon get into the group thing. Go ahead, Lisa.
But here's the thing, too. Who cares if 14 individuals looked at it? The problem is he's at the helm of the admissions process. That's the problem here, is he's one of the individuals who is in charge of the process. Further, another thing we haven't addressed yet is the fact that George Mason is a public university. So what about the liability to the school if the school itself had been biased and discriminated against individuals because of their religious or political beliefs?
Wait a second. How can you be sued, Lisa, how can you be sued for stating personal opinions on a Facebook page?
No, because
I think
if there has been proven bias in the past with applicants.
Here's how the school can be sued. If you applied to George Mason and were turned down, and you found out that your grade average in high school, your ACTs or SATs, all of that criteria, all right, was acceptable to George Mason, a la other students at the same level had been accepted, and you were turned down, after this guy said that, and then you had written an essay, said, I come from a traditional family,
I
you
think,
could slap a lawsuit on those
okay,
people
but
for
that's
$10
a
million.
small set. I think, look, I understand your point, but I'm just telling you, I think that when you're dealing with hate groups, and this guy was concerned that
This guy's a hate group. He's a one-man hate group.
No, he's saying
he's a one-man hate group.
Because he has his personal beliefs.
Yes, it's hateful.
Do you believe that? Come on.
I do.
Well, I think if he'd said it about liberals,
All right, here's what I would do to this
hateful.
guy. I got to go. But here's what I would do to this guy. I would put him in charge of grooming the campus. That's what he'd do.
But can you imagine if he said this about Muslims?
Yeah,
Oh, my goodness.
He'd be the campus groomer.